I'm surprised by a lot of people's like stupidity still. Reason why I say that, for example, a lot of things has been whitewashed. Like literally, just a lot of things have been whitewashed. Beauty standards to religious beliefs. Africa is a good example because it's insane there. Christianity runs the world, literally there. And just in general, but still, even in Suriname, you have like really black people that are just in general, Afro, that are really focused on Christianity to the point that they are willing to ignore their history or like the history with slavery and Christianity. Or even when you talk about it, they gonna get seriously uncomfortable. But I mean, there are so many examples that you could take from like whitewashing, from beauty standards. For example, when you buy beauty products or even baby products, it's just always white kids, even though the white population is a lot less common, as in population, I guess, the population terms, I guess you could say, compared to Africans or in people from like Asian. There's in Asia in general. Like it's weird. It's really weird when you actually see the whole process that it took, like to get this bad, for it to get this bad. Other examples are literally, for example, foods, like literally food, like the food industry. It's literally just whitewashed. Everything is mostly just European. European cuisines are seen as like really first class, like the actual official intelligent cuisines, I guess you could say. Even in music industries, you still have black people trying to be white instead of like themselves. And I'm not gonna say black because that's also white, a whole idea of whitewashing. Because, but yeah, especially also in the queer community, for example, with homophobia, because you know, um, a lot of cultures in general always have had queer representation because that's literally no natural as fuck. But when Christianity came to power, a lot of things are like just whitewashed, and especially with the new evidence of everything just being linked to the Epstein Islands and stuff like that, the files basically, the conspiracy theories are literally also just true. Especially with the case also with Islam colonization. I'm not gonna say Islam as in the religion. I mean the religion itself is also questionable if you want to question the religion with certain instances in the Quran. But the real issue with the whole whitewashing of like Islam is with that it allows colonization of a whole country, which is what Iran, for example, is literally fighting against, and people are literally just not willing to talk about it. And like there's a shit ton of whitewashing that has happened to the point where I, even as a kid, saw myself as a white person. Like I had a mental image of me being white to the point that me looking like me just looking at myself was so difficult because I saw myself as disgusting. Even right now, I still have the mentality of like seeing black as disgusting. Because yet again, it kind of further builds itself by people that are just willing to, this or people that are just like fitting that stereotype, you know. And that really is also an issue when it comes to lack of education, lack of just intelligence, and lack of just willingness to be better. Because if you are gonna be better, it's literally gonna be like you being an outcast, and being an outcast is also seen as edgy or just wrong or just not comfortable. it doesn't really land you a job, it doesn't land you certainty, or like, just things in general. And a lot of people are scared when it comes to seeing somebody who, for example, is just utterly beyond their understanding. We see it a lot in queer people, especially people that trans people that haven't fully transitioned, which is the reason why they all get a lot of hate. Because the average mind, or the mind that just prefers ignorance, is gonna be like, oh no, that human being wants to be, a girl. Meanwhile, they have a beard, even though there have been reports of women being born with the ability to grow beards. Even intersex people exist. So it's like ignorance is really bliss, because even right now, for me as a very highly intelligent person, and I have the confidence to say it now, but just for me in general, I have like serious imposter syndrome and question my intelligence consistently. So ignorance is like really bliss, and especially when it comes to whitewashing everything and people not be willing to question anything because it really is just uncomfortable. And I mean, there's like so many things you could really talk about, especially with the Epstein Island. Also, even in the files, they prefer just white than any other race, really, which is really interesting how they prefer to harm themselves, which kind of makes no sense when it comes to racism, I guess. But um, but at the same time, it also does if you look at it in a whole different way. But what else? Like, there's so much, to be honest. From the Caribbean to just Christianity to just, I mean, religion in general to capitalism, for example, really is just whitewashing, because socialism and everything else is just seen as bad. It's just seen as bad because, yet again, capitalism doesn't work in the world. It's just, if everybody was capitalistic, nobody would survive. Literally, like, with the whole structure and everything, it's not a science fiction. It's literally just the truth, which already is hard for people to handle. But yeah. Now there are a lot of things to also consider when it comes to talking about such these complex topics. And also, yes, I'm gonna brush my teeth. I didn't shower yet, but there are like a lot of things to consider when it comes to these type of topics, like a shit ton of things. That like, even for me, to be honest, I'm even in the system, because I grew up in a environment that supports these type of ideas. Matter of fact, I was Christian once, even willing to go up to white Jesus, but at the same time I questioned it because it didn't make any logical sense that he grew up in the Arab, places, and he was literally just what, something something BC something, I don't know, or before Christ or some shit. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it really doesn't make sense, and especially the full-on white models of literally just Jesus, in general. Matter of fact, the whole religion itself is literally just whitewashing. If you literally look at the histories with slavery, with it, Atlantic slave trade, it's just you do dehumanize a other group, and yet again we can see it again with the whole ICE situation and immigration. You literally strip away humanity, or even Palestine, for example. Like, Palestine is really a good example, or even Congo, Sudan. When you talk about these type of things, people like here, oh no, 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 it's bad. You cannot talk about this. Like, it's uncomfortable. It's gonna make me cry and stuff like that. Like, people don't really want to confront it, because when you confront these type of things, they lose a lot of privileges that they have, or like even false sense of privileges. Because even people here in Suriname don't want to talk about these type of things because it's uncomfortable, or I don't have time or some shit like that.